So we are deep diving into our signs. We're reading a book right now by Deborah Silverman called I Don't Believe in Astrology. And I've always wondered about what does it mean? What do your houses mean? What does all these words that they use mean? And how does it all come together to affect our personality? So we went on to astrologycafe.com, which gives you a free natal chart, and it tells you exactly where all your houses are and exactly what your degrees are. And it's free. It's a wonderful way to find this out for yourself without having to pay all that money, which if you did go to a professional, it is money well spent. But if you're just trying to do a deep dive like we are, this is a wonderful way to do it. So I'm just going to dig into what my stuff means, and this hopefully will help you do this for yourself. So my sun sign is in Capricorn. I have always identified with Capricorn, but I am now becoming more aware of how all of our other placements um, come into play and how it plays with our personality. So I'll just give you a brief description of what everything means. Capricorn sun is usually a feet on the ground, eye on the prize sign, earth energy. Those with sun in Capricorn have a realistic, grounded approach to life that is apparent no matter how dreamy the rest of the birth chart suggests they can be. These people know how to do things and how to get things done. Some Capricorns naturally turn their backs on what they deem too frivolous. They are very much concerned with what is worthwhile. Capricorns want to do and be something worthwhile. Like their earth signs relatives, Taurus and Virgo, they need to feel useful and effective in the real world to be satisfied with their lives. But the Capricorn spin on the earth signs is the Capricorns possess a stronger need for recognition in a worldly sense. They have a strong sense of society and its framework, and they feel most secure when they feel that they're doing their part within that framework. So I'm going to go down to a short description. A short description is she is honest, reserved, circumspect, honorable, and strong-willed, quietly ambitious with the realms of the possible. She likes and takes on responsibility. She can work in a social domain. Possible issues, and I can attest to this, can a sometimes bitter and mistrustful mind. So I'm going to skip through to my moon sign because there is a lot of information here. And if I read it all, we would be here all day. So my moon sign is it's in the sign of Aries. The moon represents the emotional responses, the unconscious predestination and self-image, or what we call the shadow side. The moon represents the emotions, and the moon sign shows how a person expresses themselves when at home, at ease, and comfortable. So my moon is in Aries, which explains why sometimes I am very Geronimo. Here we go. Leap first and then ask questions later. Nothing quite happens soon enough with this position in the moon. There is an inherent impatience with getting what they want. Life is a series of emergencies for lunar Aries. They live in the moment and have a hard time waiting for things to happen. I will say to you, working on my patience has been one of my lifelong areas that I have been focusing on. Whims of the moment take absolute precedence in their life. This is a fiery position of the moon. Even if the sun or rising is more low-key, moon and Aries people possess an inner passion and fire. Emotional issues take precedence. There's simply no pussyfooting around with dealing with the feelings. And dealing with new sentiments and needs stir up a huge desire for activity. Moons and Aries have a need for acting out their needs with no time to waste. It is hard for them to see the long term or wait for things to happen. Instant gratification rules. Oddly enough, there's a very defensive position of the moon. These natives take things very personally, and they deal with problems by facing them immediately so they can get on with other things. Their flare-ups are generally end up almost as quickly as they started. They have an unmistakable independent streak. So I'm just going to move on because, like I said, we can talk about this all day. The next one, my Mercury, which represents communication and logical spirit. My Mercury is in my husband's sign of Sagittarius. Enthusiastic, humorous, and sometimes very moral. Has strong opinions and will often be eager to share them. Tend to be a Democrat, philosophical, tolerant, respectful of laws, interested in foreign places and learning more languages, but believes that everything teaches you something. So this is probably where we get along very well. My husband has 4 Sagittarius placings. His Sagittarius is in moon. His moon is in Sagittarius. His sun is in Sagittarius. That bird is really giving us the what for. His Mercury is in Sagittarius, so both of our Mercury is in Sagittarius, which makes sense. And his Venus is in Sagittarius. So my Venus happens to be in Scorpio. I actually have 3 Scorpio placements. Venus represents the interest in emotions, values, exchange, and sharing with others. So Venus and Scorpio people tend to attract others with their intensity and willingness to commit. They have a strong and concentrated manner, which suggests their feelings runs deep. Their actions in love tend to promise deep commitment and sexual pleasure, even if they're not telling you this directly. Their appeal lies in their focus on you and their dedication. Venus in Scorpio seems fearless when it comes to intimacy. I'm just going to skip over the rest of that because it's very sexually charged and get to the next one, which is which is Mars, which happens to also be in Scorpio. So Mars represents the desire for action and physical energy. Mars and Scorpio people love to challenge themselves to do the impossible. They throw themselves into what they decide to do with concentrated energy and awesome willpower. These people make formidable opponents, although often quietly so. They keep their cool and their equilibrium on the surface. Below the surface may be another story. They are unlikely to easily let you in. Mars in Scorpio has the potential to exploit others. These people see through others and rely heavily on their gut feelings. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one, which is Jupiter. Jupiter represents expansion and grace, which is also in Scorpio. She attracts the most good fortune when she puts her all into her project or undertaking. She uses her magnetic power to heal others, enthusiastic for deeper studies and meanings, and all that taboo and mysterious philosophy, values decisiveness, intensity, willpower, commitment, and strength, very strong problem-solving nature, cutting to the chase. Science and research may be prosperous avenues, which actually makes a lot of sense. My Saturn, although, is in Taurus, which represents concentration and effort. I always say about Taurus, oh, stubborn like bull. She doesn't like to see greed or waste in others, may not shun materialism and possess enough completely, and learn to build up a sense of being or deserving of some pleasures in life. She takes one-on-one relationships very seriously, perhaps partnering up later in life or choosing not to. Partnership may not be as fruitful or may not be felt to be a burden if Saturn is affected. A strong sense of responsibility towards her partner. Partner may be serious, mature, or restrictive. Her feelings are sincere and stable. She is persevering, methodological, and persistent, which boosts the professional success. She can be hardworking and practical. The next one is Uranus. My Uranus is in Libra. I also happen to know that my ascending is in Libra, so I need to go back and look at that. So she has well-developed artistic leanings. Her balance can be upset by too great an independence, questions traditional approaches to relating, and wants to do things differently. She has difficulties fully adapting to the modern world, to new technology. She looks for a job in an isolated place or need for lots of space to tap into her genius. My Neptune is also in Sagittarius, and the Neptune represents transitional liberty or non-ego liberty. So my Neptune in Sagittarius may especially enjoy long voyages, things foreign, being close to water, altruistic, broad spiritual vision, humane and spiritual. She may not prefer to attach too much value to money, but if this is overdone, there can be quite a few problems in life concerning money and ownership. She may make enough money through she might make money through artistic pursuits, but must avoid the potential pitfalls such as putting too much faith in ideas that don't have enough grounding in reality. It's vital to seek out financial advice for significant ventures. Well, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Um, and then my Lilith is in Virgo. So Lilith represents black moon or our darker, deeper natures that may be represented or buried, or as we call them, our shadow side. She may have felt uncomfortable or wrong for paying special attention to practical side of life, attention to details, organization, and routines. She may go to pains to prove she is not ordinary, worried, eager to please, or concerned about details enough to perfect a craft or project. Leaving many projects unfinished can be a sign of perfectionist expectations, since this way she does not have to deal with the project of not producing something perfect. And I have to say, I have worked really hard on the perfectionism over the years. The key to eliminating extreme behaviors is to work through self-acceptance. So this south node represents our overdeveloped characters or traits. We are talented here, but if we overdo this area of life or hold on to these traits to feel secure, we may stagnate. The north node points to qualities that we need to work on and develop to achieve inner balance and fulfillment. So my north node lies in Aquarius. So her path to learn to be more impartial and less possessive in relationships and with creative projects. As she learns to let go of the need for a passionate chase, satisfaction will come to her naturally as she sees that she nevertheless gets what she needs. Relationships may suffer if she takes things too personally and expects others to follow a script that she has unconsciously written for them. She learns to moderate her desire for drama and attention, and this develops true friendships. Qualities to develop: detachment, impartiality, and humility. And again, my ascending is in Libra. Everybody seems to like the Libra ascendant. So I think how the Libra represents is how we kind of show our personality to others. Everybody seems to like a Libra ascendant. They come across as nice, pleasant, and fair. Look a little closer at their lives, and these nice people may have had quite a few problems in their relationships. Some of them have had a string of relationships, and it can be hard to imagine why. These natives attract others to them effortlessly. Besides, they simply don't want to do with themselves. They don't know what to do with themselves without a significant other. Libra rising generally appear to be smoothing everything over. They have charming smiles, a gentle approach with others, and an easygoing image. Even if they're not endowed with good looks, they are attractive. Most pay a lot of attention to their personal appearance, the colors they wear, their hair, and the way they walk. Libra rising people can be enormously persuasive, although they will almost always use a soft sell approach when they want to win others over, which is all the time. A tendency to pass the buck and keep up that nice guy gal image are their worst qualities. However, they can make excellent mediators and will generally be the first to accommodate you. Libra rising natives are usually attracted to competent, active partners. Their relationships are often characterized by bickering or competitiveness until they learn to drop their sweet image. Until they learn to drop their sweet image once in a while and stop blaming their partners for everything that goes wrong. Yeah. And then it goes into all the houses, which I will not bore you with. But I guess the whole point of this is like to better understand ourselves. I think that we tend to just look at, if at all, we tend to look at our sun sign, and that's our whole personality, which isn't true. It's a dominant part, but all these other placements are adding, like, if you're just looking at one sign, okay, I'm a Capricorn sun, and that's me. You're missing all of this other brilliance that makes you up, which I have been exploring recently, my moon in Aries. Like, oh, now I understand why I get so fiery and why I'm all like, Gerard, let's go, let's do it. Leap and then look, which really competes with my Capricorn grounded energy. But then realizing I have 3 signs in Scorpio, which is kind of huge. It explains why I've always kind of like had a fascination with what happens when we die, So how do you want me to wrap this up? I'm going to let you wrap it up.
Yeah, so just to sum it up, we're really getting involved in understanding the energies of why we think how we think, why we say what we say, why we do what we do, why we feel what we feel, and so on. And we're really getting involved in doing these natal charts. Probably something in the future is there'll be a service that we'll offer if you're interested in having your natal chart done. Because it's like she said, if you just focus on your sun sign, you think that's all there is. When all these other things happen in your life, challenges, whatever, you're not prepared for them, so you're not going to understand them. So you can overthink something or be stuck in a certain emotion, or be hard on yourself all the time, or try to understand why people treat you the way they treat you. And these natal charts will really help get down to the nitty gritty and pinpoint all the energy so that you can understand yourself more, how the world works, how the universe works, why people are the way they are, why they feel the way they feel, why they treat you the way they do, why you treat them the way you do. Okay, so like I said, this is something we'll be offering. Not as of yet. We're still working out the ins and outs, getting all the bugs out. But we thank you for tuning in and listening, and we hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.